Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. The film you're about to watch is a little bit different than the videos you're used to seeing from us. The reason for that is because unfortunately we were unable to get my turkey hunt from this past spring on film. But we still want to bring you guys some content and really just kind of break down the hunt and why we think that it was in fact a successful turkey hunt for us. So the location that I'm standing right now is actually a piece of public land that we had scouted earlier in the spring, late winter months. We were scouting it for deer, but we actually saw turkeys and a lot of turkey sign on it. So we kind of put it in our back pocket and thought it might be a place we want to try to do some turkey hunting for the spring. Sure enough, about the third week of the season, we were having a pretty rough go at it, and we decided to give this spot a try. Now, where I'm standing is not where I killed the turkey, but we heard the turkey from this location, and it was actually across the street on a piece of private land. So Corey and I were actually just kind of taking a break on our phones, messing around when we heard the turkey gobble. So I whipped out my phone, and we use an app called HuntStand to figure out parcel information, land terrain. I know a lot of you guys use onX, and there's a couple other big ones out there, but we like HuntStand. And sure enough, unbeknownst to us, the landowner on that piece of private where the turkey was is actually a gentleman that we have permission from at a different location. So I gave him a call. He answered right away, and sure enough, he did in fact own that land. He told us to go after that bird, chase it, and let him know how we did. So we didn't waste any time packing up, heading over there to go try to get on this turkey. Right now, I'm gonna head across the street with you guys, and then we'll really kind of dive into the hunt there and break down step by step what happened. All right, so where we're walking right now is kind of the path of travel we took to get back there. The public land location and the spot that we heard the bird is about a half mile from here. So we're walking through a cut cornfield right now. Not much turkey sign on this end actually, but the next spot you're gonna see us is up here just inside the woods at the bottom of, it's a hill, but I even would go as far as calling it a cliff. Really rocky, very steep. So we will see you there and dive into it even more in a second. The location that I'm standing right now is where we let out our first series of calls. And you might be wondering why we didn't just cross the road from the public to the private and go straight up to the turkey. Well, to my north here, there is a river. And when I say river, it is very deep, very fast flowing, down a huge embankment, big ravine. So the only access point we had to get around this river was at the very end of the private land, which I just mentioned is about a half mile from where we heard this turkey. So Corey let out the first set of calls here. We didn't figure he would respond just because of how far we were, but we wanted to kind of call every 50 yards or so until we got in what we call his bubble, or kind of, broke that area where he can finally hear us. So moving forward, we just kind of climbed up this hill that you can see behind me, very steep hill, because we wanted to get on top or level with where that turkey sounded like he was. I don't know why, but a lot of you avid turkey hunters have probably heard or experienced the same thing. It seems very hard to call a mature turkey down a hill for whatever reason. So we wanted to get up there with him and kind of level the playing field, if you will. When I said hill, I meant it. This sucker is steep, and I forgot how steep it was. All right, we are to the final destination. The tree I'm sitting against is the exact tree I was sitting against when I killed this bird. I'm a little bit out of breath because that hill we just climbed is a little bit ridiculous in my opinion, very steep. But I think that's a big reason why we killed this turkey. A lot of hunters aren't willing to, put in the man hours and trek back to the hilliest, roughest terrain. We were in this case. So I was sitting here The bird was to my left as you see me now, and Corey was to my right about 20 or 30 yards. The reason why we did that is because we didn't know if we were dealing with a turkey that hangs up. If you're not a turkey hunter, what I mean by that is sometimes these mature toms will gobble in one spot and expect that female to come to them. So we placed Corey there anticipating him doing that. That wasn't the case though. He came right to me. As you'll see in the aerial footage or the aerial map, he started out in the corner of the field, gobbled, traveled into the woods, gobbled. I thought he would come right to me. He did not. He popped back into the field, gobbled, and I was a little worried he would skirt around us because we do not have permission in the field. So he had to come in the woods for us to be able to shoot. And in fact, he came right directly into the woods to my tree. I let him take 5-6 steps onto the land that we're allowed to hunt before I squeezed the trigger. So to wrap up this video, I want to end with some key points or some keys to success. Number one, I think, is just persistence. We kept after him. We had a real rough season up until this point, but we didn't give up. We tried some spots that morning, didn't work out. Instead of going home, getting breakfast, going to bed, we came here, killed a bird. Number two, networking and using technology. In today's world, we have so many great tools right at our fingertips that can allow us to be better hunters. We used a bunch of them. We got on HuntStand, we're able to figure out who owned this land, had the landowner's phone number, gave him a call 10, 15 years ago. That would have never happened. Number three would be getting up top with the turkey. As I mentioned, it's very hard to call turkeys downhill for whatever reason, so we hustled back here, got up top, level with the bird. Had we not done that, I don't think we killed this turkey. And then last but not least, what I just touched on, placing Corey, behind me and putting myself, the hunter, in between the turkey and the caller. I think that was a big key to success as well, and allowed that bird to basically fall into my lap before I squeezed the trigger. So other than that, thank you guys for tuning in and watching the video today. I know it was a little bit different, but we hope you got some knowledge from it, if anything. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through social media. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and then subscribe to our YouTube page. Thanks, guys.